I was cleaning out my black tanks this morning, going through my flushing ritual, you know, and I came back in, took a shower, and when I got out I noticed there was some water puddled up here, and it was slowly moving, so I knew whatever was causing the leak had just happened, because it was just a little bit, you know, a little puddle of water just slowly moving along there. And I felt along the edges, you know, and there was nothing leaking here, no water, you know, pooled up in this little trough here or anything, so it didn't come from the shower. So I figured, you know, that maybe my drain had leaked again, and I pulled this panel out, pulled all this stuff out, and nothing, it was dry as a bone in there at the time. What had happened was, under the sink here, where's my flashlight? There we go. Under the sink here, there was a little bit of water right there. You can see where it kind of messed up that little dude right there. It got wet. You know, this stuff doesn't like to get wet. But I checked under the faucet and all that, and everything was good. But that dude right there is spewing water out at some point in time. So I'm thinking that when I'm flushing my black tank, that thing is leaking water. That's what I'm believing. So I think I've run across a video at one point in time where that gave somebody else some problems. I'm going to do some troubleshooting. That thing will screw on and off, so I'm going to take it off and see if it what the deal is. It should be some kind of a vacuum breaker, but it should not be allowing water out. I was able to just type in B&B 571 and popped up some information on the forums that when you are rinsing your black tank, what happens is this water, this line, this closest to us, comes from your hose outside, and then it goes through that check valve. Then the line that runs behind the pipe there, that one goes to your black tank. This prevents the water that reaches your black tank through your hose. It prevents that water from backflowing because of that check valve. But what's happening is that the check valve is defective, and when you apply water pressure to that, it is allowing the water to come out. And you can see the white droplets dried on there. That's where the water has been leaking out. It is a known defect, and I found a phone number for the company, and they're having a Christmas party right now. They're supposed to call me back. Let's just see how that goes. Some folks have had luck getting this replaced for free, so wish me luck. I took this valve out, and I've had it soaking in 100% vinegar for I don't know, maybe 3 hours or so, and I violently, you know, shook it around and, you know, tried to dislodge anything that was in there. And of course you see there's some debris that came out. It's entirely possible that the failure of this unit isn't because of faulty design, but it just is something that has to be cleaned every now and then. I mean, you can't fault Fram for making a faulty air cleaner that gets dirty. That's kind of ridiculous. But anything that water runs through, and then especially then if the water is allowed to dry a little bit, you know, like in the case of this thing, I only use it once a week. It only gets wet once a week, but in between those days, the water that's in there gets a chance to dry, and any contaminants in the water get a chance to dry. So if those contaminants are on top of a check valve, let's just say the check valve in here is a ball. I don't know, I can't take it apart. I'm not going to take it apart. But if the check valve in here is a ball and it has a piece of debris sitting on it, well, it can't seal. So it can either allow the material that it's supposed to be stopping to bypass, or in this case, it could be allowing the water that is supposed to be stopping to escape, and that's what's happening, and it's happening a lot. There's a lot of talk about this particular valve and its problems, but you know what, I'm gonna go rig up something outside. Hopefully I've got the parts. I'm gonna apply water pressure to the inlet in, and try to plug that in a little bit and just put some pressure on it and see if I can get that to leak. And if it stopped leaking, then the problem was debris. So this may be something that I need to add to my checklist of things I do periodically. Is to just, this is a 5-minute job. I mean, taking that off is nothing. You reach under the sink, unscrew that, throw it in a bowl of vinegar, go to work for the day. When you come back, maybe you've got a note to remind you to put this back on so you don't mess up, but it's nothing. Screw it back on and you're done. And it's easily, in my RV, it's easily accessible. I know that's not the case in every one of them, but we're going to test this theory. I had just enough parts laying around from other projects that I was able to assemble a way to test this valve and see if it still leaked, and it does not. So oh yeah, it does too. Never mind. You see that little gush right there? The first test it didn't leak. If I shake that out, put a little water pressure on it. It didn't leak that time. I can't have it leaking though. That's just it. It can't leak. Can't be like not leak 50% of the time. Bummer. Just replace them. And I would recommend something other than B&B. B&B 571. No good.